Okay, so I just had my first spinal energetic session, and I thought that I would document it in all of my post emotional release glory. And from Maryland led my just like zapped. Brenda from Maryland led my session. She was divine. Absolutely enjoyed her presence, her energy. She was very sweet. She definitely asked me if I was taking any medication, but does weed count? She knew. So, anyway, but I had a lot of emotional releases, physical releases, some body movements, some rolls, some sighs. She said that I had an inactive throat chakra. Knew that. Solar plexus, and I think too much. I was told to get out of my head. It was sweet because she spoke briefly about having a strong spiritual team and lots of people showing up, and she mentioned my maternal side, grandmother and a great grandmother, and I felt that always. Mooney, I hear you, I see you. Yeah. So, and she spoke about having to heal generational trauma and generational curses, and how I get to do that. Isn't that great? But yeah, it was also nice about just hearing about my own. I'm on the right path and I know it, so like, here we go. Okay, we are practicing using our voice. And she goes silent. Alright. Day 1, Toronto. It is a wrap. It was a wonderful day. Basics were covered, nothing too crazy. There were a couple people who like did some practices and what have you, but it felt a little distracting, to be honest. She started off by doing a group therapy set, like a group session, whatever, not therapy. My hair looks fantastic. I'm gonna have to show you guys how shitty this haircut was and how wonderful it's grown out, because like it was rough. Anyway, start off with the group session, and like they have this whole conversation about creating the field, and like the field's gonna keep growing and expanding as we're all there together and like adding to it. But like as soon as it started, she starts like activating through other people, and like I just felt emotional. But then like there were a couple other women too who like just ran with it, and it felt a little when they were doing it. But like that could also just be me being upset that I didn't feel comfortable enough to like start sharing in that space as well. So I don't know, we'll reflect on it, we'll journal. But started the group session, and like I felt very much just like aware. I was aware of every person she was interacting with. I was aware of who was adding to the energy, who was removing themselves, who like that whole flow. And I liked, they were asking me, like they started asking who was the furthest along and who was going to be like the one who was still working, and I pointed at the guy because I was like, that motherfucker's holding on to something and he's not letting it go. But like the other girl was like the one who was like writhing all over the place, and so everyone like picked her, and I was like, it's the guy. Guess what? It was the guy. So that was satisfying. But then like practice continued and everything, or the teaching continued, and it was all good. It was all good. We learned assessment. We got to vibe with each other as a group. I did not like the guy's breathing counts. His counts were trash. Sorry, Pat. I don't like the way you count. How are we all gonna breathe on the same time if you just don't count consistently? You seem nice. Practice your counting. But yeah, other than that, nothing like major. Oh, I got put on the table just to be an example, because she knew that she was working on different people and like wanting it to show how their feet move and how tightness, tension, whatever. All right, let's review. which side where, and then confirmation. So whenever we check the feet, we want to see which one's longer than the other, and whichever one's longer is, whichever one's shorter is the side that you're going to focus on. And then from there, the side that you're going to focus on, you check the Achilles tendon. The Achilles tendon, its stiffness on the side that you've selected as the shortest, will then tell you where exactly it is. So if there is a lot of tension, high tension, it's going to be high. If it's looser, it's going to be lower. So then once you confirm that, then you're able to go up, you lift the feet, you check their 90s to see their, they kept talking about feet pads, heel pads, but like it just looked like one foot was taller than the other. So maybe I'm observing something different, but so once they had their feet, then you got to like see the height, the 90-degree angle as to which one was higher or lower, or what was shown there. And then that just confirms everything from before, and then also can tell you if you need to go higher. So if you decide it's higher on the body and you go up to A versus E, and A is going to be cervical, and then E is going to be sacrum, and then you get to decide from there height wise if it's higher or lower. So is it going to be what you've chosen? Is it higher neck, lower neck, or is it higher sacrum, lower sacrum? And then you can go from there. From that point, you palpitate, and you can palpitate up, palpitate down. But really, you only have to palpitate whatever it is that you're focused on. Basically, to each his own is how that one feels. But anyways, during that process, she put me on the table to like show a difference, because other people were starting to like connect more physically. And so she's like, I need someone that's more in their head. And she literally was just like, you? Fine. So she put me on the table, and then she starts checking my stuff. And I guess I was responding pretty quick, but she was just like, you got issues with your mother. She got me. But yeah, I'm curious how tomorrow's gonna go, because we're gonna have a group session. It'll be our first group session, and I feel like I'm probably just gonna be a mess and pretty exhausted. So I'm trying not to do anything too crazy today. But I want to go up to the lake. I'm next to 3 Great Lakes. If I don't fucking see one, like, what is wrong with me? Because then I'll check off 2, because I've done Michigan, and I'll be able to go to Ontario. But I could go to Huron too, and that, there's another one, right? Maybe I only need to go 2 if I'm touching Michigan. I gotta look at the map. Anyway, we're just good. It's good, and I'm pleased, and it just feels, there were a lot of times today that I was just like, this feels like home. This feels like home. I like this. So, I'm pleased, and I will say something about it tomorrow. Oh, also, staying in an Airbnb that is this tall. This tall. Great. All right, have a good day. Oh, also, staying in an Airbnb that is this tall. This tall. Great. All right, have a good day. It's a different vibe today, guys. It was, I'm in Canada, right? In case you didn't know. And so I always have a hard time when I travel, just because I always speak in just like idioms and all that jazz, and people never understand what I'm saying a lot of the time if I'm in different parts of the world. So I guess that's something I can work on. But all that to say, I feel like I was rode hard and put up wet. Like, that's what today was. But it started off, I did my makeup today. Don't know why. We had a group session first thing, so like it was gone in all of 2 minutes flat. So we did our first group session. I think it was like 20, maybe 25 of us. I need to count. I need to ask. Count, ask. We'll find out. So there's less than 30, more than 20 of us. And so they just had us on yoga mats, bolsters. At props. You know, what do you lose, what do you gain? I liked the bolster at the end. I wasn't happy with it in the middle, just because it was in my way at one point. But then with other people around me, I felt like I couldn't, like, here, Tina, take this. Like, with it. It would have been nice to have a little more space just because movement. All right, rewind. We had a group session today, and it was great. So they start off by having us like in mats like you would in a yoga class, provided bolster and a blanket. I made sure we had tissues because I knew that was going to be a thing. Sure enough, I snotted everywhere. I was just sobbing. But so we start, and you know, everyone plays off each other. It's a field, it's an energetic space that like is added to, and so people will have their experiences and like pop off at different times and whatever, what have you. But like I felt like I was just going. Then like at one point I broke out into a sweat. I was just like sweating and sobbing and spitting and snotting. Like, it's not cute, and it's not like a fun, it's type 2 fun. This is type 2 fun stuff. So like if you're not into type 2 fun, it might not be for you, at least not now, maybe in the future. But if type 2 fun's your thing, do it. So we started the group session, and like I processed really hard. I've got a lot of stuff. It was old. It was so old. It was so old. It's some stuff that I've been working on, that I kind of uncovered whenever I took psilocybin. A little too much in 2020, let's be honest. But it was some stuff that I uncovered then, and that I've been working on since. For those of you who don't know, I also have done like neuroemotional therapy with Dr. Kelsey Smith, who I will recommend to anyone who will listen, because she is a fucking angel, that woman. So if you'd like to know more about her, feel free to reach out, because I am happy to give her card out to anyone who will take it. But also now that I do that, she's kind of booked. So, you know, there's that. But yeah, big emotional release there. We continued after. I mean, I get that you want to be connected to the space and feel the energy in the field and all that, but like I said, I felt like I was rode hard to put up wet. As soon as the session ended, I just like wiped off my mat because it was snot covered. I had to clean that up, and then I had to get outside. I had to sit in the grass. Like, there was no choice. I needed my back against a tree and my feet in the grass. Like, that was going to be the only thing that made sense at that point. I think I overbaked these, to be honest. This is my leftovers from lunch, and I don't really know how it's going to go, so let's hear it. Not great, but you know, that's what you get for putting fries back in the oven. So it was good. It was good, but I was a little tired. I felt a little too spacey to be able to like learn the processes. Not that I didn't learn them. I just felt a little spacey while I was doing it. I brought a pine cone inside with me because I was like, no, I need to bring the tree with me. So I was like holding this pine cone, listening while she talked about all the different steps and techniques and what have you. But I guess that's been my favorite part of the whole experience, is just because everybody has so many different backgrounds and modalities, to see the tools that people utilize while also learning this new process, this new technique. It was very cool. It's very cool because you have people who are breath work, you have people who are somatic facilitators, you have people who are Reiki, like just all these different modalities, and seeing how everyone connects to energy differently. And it's always something I've always like told my friends when we have discussions about ESP and psychic abilities and your clairs, right? Is that everybody can sing, but everybody sings different. Some people are great at it, some people not so much. Some people are classical, some people are jazz. So what's your shtick? And that was the coolest part so far, is just like being able to witness everybody's ability. It's so cool, and it's such a precious experience. Yeah. And then finally we got to practice. We did rotations, and nobody wanted to be on the table first. Like nobody wanted to be the guinea pig first. So I just put myself on the table, and I had an awesome experience. But also because the process they were working on was related to issues that I had. And so I had another like very nice release. And there's a woman that I'm obsessed with this. I just think she's great. As soon as I saw her, I was like, I want to hug you. I don't like hugging people, but I wanted to hug her. And whenever I had the second like big emotional release or whatever, she was there, and I just was like, just wanted to lean into her. But yeah, it was great. It just feels like home. It feels like the place that I want to be. And I'm just really grateful. I feel like that's all I can say is like, I'm just so grateful. I'm gonna eat my burger now. I might not. Well, I don't know. It just depends on. I'll try. I have been doing my best to try and record something. Like cute face crying. I've been doing my best to record something from every day of the training this week. The training's been fantastic. Today was great. We started off, I got to practice on several people. Majority of which were very like non-responsive compared to yesterday. But I'm really wondering if my own personal life is kind of impacting my ability. I don't know. Everyone said that they had a great experience. Anyone that I worked on was just like, oh yeah, I felt that. One girl was like, I've never moved before. It's great. But I myself like felt a little off. And at the end of the day, I was informed that I had lost a loved one. And I think that really had made an impact on my entire day without actually knowing it or realizing it at the time. Around the time of his passing, I felt rage. I just felt absolute rage, and I couldn't place it, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I couldn't figure out whose it was, and I kept trying to like leave the spaces that I felt it and walk away from it, but I couldn't shake it. And then I was told at the end of the day, at the end of the session, that I had lost a loved one. So now I don't know how tomorrow's gonna go. I don't know if I'm supposed to. It feels irresponsible to like work on people when you're not in a place of balance and like ease. It would feel like arm wrestling on a tightrope. I think just not having the space to be able to work from, or the energy in myself to like to offer. I don't know. So I don't know. I tried to record something. All right. Clearly I'm in a better mood, but fourth day, final day, we wrapped it up. Started off rough just because I've had my own personal experiences and loss during this time. So like I started off just being very like unsure and uncertain about how I was supposed to like carry myself and like how I could offer energy to the space. And I didn't know if like because I was handling grief or like dealing with grief that I was going to be able to be of benefit in the sense of like energy work and like trying to help someone. But something I'm super grateful for was I was able to pull Dr. Sarah aside and, you know, instead of having fear about it, she told me that like in that sense that anyone that was also experiencing grief or hardship in that way would then be drawn to me to be able to like relate and connect in that way and be able to hold space. So that gave me a lot of reassurance, and that no matter like what energetic state you're in, that you are of benefit to someone. Like you don't have to be at 100%. Sometimes someone needs you to be, you know, with them wherever there is, whatever level, stage that they're in. Like it's nice to know that somebody can understand and hold that space with you. You know, you want to talk to someone that's experienced something that you have as well. You don't want to talk to someone that you can't relate to. So that was, I think that was a good, probably the biggest lesson I learned all week is that you're perfect just the way you are, and like you don't have to be a bright shining star all the time. So I'm very, very grateful to have had that lesson. I was just a little grumpy monkey, like a little bit into the afternoon, and I was just kind of frustrated because I also felt like I wasn't being given the opportunity to practice. Not just people were practicing, everybody was practicing, but it felt like the universe was kind of like kicking me of just like, wait, delay, pause, you don't, it's fine. And then it was just nice because end of the day, another woman invited me to dinner, and then after offered to practice, and she realized that I hadn't had the chance to practice yet, and it was just very sweet because I was able to have more of like an intimate setting and more of a realistic experience as to what a one-on-one session would be like, and being able to create while still using the field that we created as a group, but being able to then create subsection of that field, and just having it in a more like intimate private setting was just a gift. It was just an absolute gift. And then also allowing that woman to then practice on me as well, and she gave me the absolute, it was exactly what I needed. It was exactly what I needed. It felt like everything that I had been building up and working towards to be able to like make that connection and release what I needed to release. And now I'm supposed to take a phone call. So, fourth final day, it was great. I'm blessed, I'm amazed, and it feels like home.